Went to this morning something that was advertised on Facebook as a yard sale. Now, usually it didn't have any pictures, and usually something like that, I kind of brush it aside because it makes me a little suspicious. But the caption read, "We're cleaning out my grandparents' house and everything must go." Kind of hooked me with the grandparents line because I thought old people, cool stuff. So I did go. It was about 18 minutes away from me. It's just actually right past where I work. And got there 20 minutes early. Captain Slow did not go with me. He stayed home and in the bed. So got there 20 minutes early. The lady was still putting out the signs. It was a misting rain a little bit, and she said something about the weather, and she said, "But everything's inside." And I said, "Is it okay if I go on in?" And she said, "Sure." Because the rest of her family, her aunts and mother, whatever, was in there. So went in, and I was the first person to go through everything. And I was trying to get my fill in. I was trying to go through everything meticulously. But when I hit the second room, I heard someone else come in, another customer. So I was like, uh-oh, I got to get it in high gear. I wanted to make at least one lap to see what was there before anyone else got to pick through it. So, but what I got was a nice little haul. And they had great prices. It was basically an estate sale that they were calling a yard sale, but they had yard sale prices. So we're going to show you the haul. I already know where one piece is going. Maybe we'll style something else. I don't know. We'll show you that. And we're also going to do a recipe. We got a boatload of eggs because we've got 12 hens that are laying. So we're giving some to people at church and all that, but we're still getting 8 to 10 a day. And I don't eat eggs any other way than chop them up or boil them and chop them up on a salad or baked in a cake. It's only 2 ways I'm going to have an egg. So we've got plenty of eggs, and I have a cream cheese pound cake recipe that calls for 6 eggs. So I thought, great way to get rid of eggs. So we'll try to do that at the end. I've got the butter and the cream cheese laying out right now. So this haul, like I said, these were yard sale prices. They had a little system going where they would have stickers. Some things were individually priced, but most smaller things would have a colored sticker on it, like this one. And they had a sign on the wall that corresponded. Red sticker, this amount. Green sticker, this amount. Blue sticker, da-da-da. So I got a few things that still have a sticker on them. I have no idea. I cannot remember what the prices were. Everything I bought was $22.20. So some of it was 10 cents a piece. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to show you that. I will say, and if you see it, I do have an injury. I'm not as young as I used to be. I got out there yesterday because we didn't have an estate sale yesterday. So I said, I'm going to clean out my onions. The row of onions that I have in the garden was getting really close to being overtaken by grass. And it is kind of dry. It isn't as wet as I would like it to be. And I was out there with a trowel, and I had gloves on, but that trowel just kept working into the palm of my hand until I had a blister and it popped. So I have it covered up. And you know you're old when you go out there and you dig out weeds from your onions, and then that night you have to take a painkiller, or excuse me, a muscle relaxer and an anti-inflammatory to help you ease off to sleep, because my right arm was killing me after all that. But anyway, we'll get on to the haul. And I showed you the little rooster. I did get 2 chicken things. I just noticed a little while ago when I started looking at everything, or starting to do this, it does say Japan on the bottom. Not made in Japan, just Japan. But his little top tail feathers are broken off. And I can hear helicopters. There was a Black Hawk that flew over yesterday, and I just saw one go by, and I can hear another one somewhere. Might have been 10 or 20 cents. I can't remember. Another Black Hawk flying over. Those things are like yesterday and today. They've been flying. Anyway, I don't know if it's a top secret thing. No, it's not top secret. Anyway, that was maybe 10 or 20 cents. This is not for sale. It was just going to be here for decoration anyway, so it's not a big deal that it has a tip broken off. The other chicken, I saw this and I was hoping, and I thought it was an egg timer or a timer, but I think it's an actual clock. You can see it had a yellow sticker. The numbers are green. Kind of gives you the old feel because the numbers are green. You can see in the back, it just takes one AA battery. The controls, snooze button probably. But I just thought she was precious. Usually I don't get chickens this colored up. But I just thought it was such a nice little timer. Now I could put a battery in it and see if it works. But I think I'm just more partial to just putting it in with our kitchen stuff and making it look like a timer. we'll see. So those two things. This was in the kitchen, and I don't drink hot tea. I showed you a recipe for Russian tea not too long ago. It's more of a, that's a sweet drink. But I don't do hot tea. Around, South Georgia, we do sweet iced tea, but not hot. People do hot tea, don't get me wrong. We just don't. So this is going to be for decoration. And it had a blue sticker on it. And it's fine. Aluminum. Has its little hook. So that's just going to be just something to decorate with. You can hardly turn something down when it's 10 or 20 cents. So this has a green sticker. And I've already cleaned this because it was a little dirty. They had 2 of these. The other one was bent up a little bit on the edge. And this is a great little trinket tray. I showed you the ironstone, the little ironstone bowl I got out of the last estate sale. That was the Flora Shop. I said you could use it for soap, or you could use it for your jewelry or something like that. And I wouldn't use this for soap because it'll get in the holes. But if you could put this in there, if you wash your hands a lot, your kitchen sink or the bathroom sink, you could take your rings and all off and put it in that. That's a nice little trinket to have. And it's just a small one compared to the big oval size makeup trays that they usually have. I have a couple of those. So let's see. There we go. This is probably the first thing I picked up. I just think it's darling, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little serving dish. And it does say made in Japan on the back. And you can see all that crazing. I don't know if you can see it in here. This is not shadows. This is actually crazing in there. But I just like the look of it. It just gives you that pre-World War II feel. Now, they had a dedicated office. And I kept picking up books and putting them down, going, no more old books. You don't need any more old books. And what happens? 2 more old books. This one actually says its copyright is 1916. I find it hard to believe because it is in really good condition. It's just navy, but it says the foundation of modern religion. I'm thinking it might have had a dust jacket or something on it at one time, but you can see the condition of the pages. She actually has a receipt in here from, was it the Piggly Wiggly? Yeah, in Cordele, Georgia. So that's kind of cool. And then this one, now this one said 1916 copyright. This one says 1925. And this is why I have a problem with that one. It's in great shape, but this one is 1925, and look at this. The binding, the paper, it's falling apart. And it is called Safe Counsel, I think. Safe Counsel or Practical Eugenics. I have no idea what that was. But I have looked through it just to make sure that it's not dirty pictures in there before we start displaying it in the house. This will be for sale on eBay. It was in the kitchen amongst all the other coffee mugs. Seen these sale. These are the Fire King, Anchor Hocking Fire King. See if I can get it where you can see it. And stackable mugs. So that will be for sale. This is the other thing that I bought for sale on eBay. And I Google Lens it after I got home, and they kept saying McCoy. I thought it looked more like Royal Copley on the bottom. A lot of Royal Copley, but it is McCoy. I have a McCoy book, and I looked it up. It's in perfect condition, except for, it's a cookie jar, of course, except for some of the coal paint is coming off. You can see a little bit of yellow there. It's missing in some other places. Other than that, it's in great shape. There's no chips, cracks. The lid's fine. So it's just the big old cookie jar. The husband's coming in, so I might get interrupted in a minute. This, I thought it was a regular picture frame, but it's not. There's a kickstand. It looks like it meant to hold on something, maybe a light, some kind of light, because it had this inserted. And I popped it all out, but we're going to try to make this into a picture frame. We'll see. Now this, as soon as I saw it, I had an idea flash in my mind of how to use it. So it will be one of the things that I show you what's styled afterwards. I do the white and black enamel This is authentically chipped up. You can tell the sucker is really old. It isn't made to look this way. And how you know? Because it's been used well. So I got this for decoration. I got these, some of this. Those two items, the cookie jar and the cup, will be eBay sales. Then I keep putting stuff away for our booth, that the endeavor that we're trying to get into. We haven't quite got there, but when things come around and they're cheap enough, I try to pick them up and put them in a box and put them in the shed for a booth. This is one of those things. And you can see a really nice little detail on these. So, of course, these were yellow stickers. They had others, but I just thought these looked old. And they probably are. Now, aprons. And what was so funny was a couple of the little old ladies saw me looking through their aprons, and they saw me later when I had a few on my arms. And they're like, "You like old aprons?" Yes. I use an old full one that hangs up in my laundry room. But these I like to display. And this one and another one will be for sale whenever we get that booth. So this is another one of those things we take and put up for when we have that. This is in good condition. It's hardly any stains, and it is in great condition as far as no holes. This next one I think has a stain or two, but it will be for sale too sometime or another. And you can see it's stained up a little bit in there. So that will be for sale, as is. This one I'm going to keep. It has its problems, but I like the material. I like the color of it. But as you can see, it's been well used as well in its life. But I do like the look of that apron. So now the last thing is I try to keep a list of things in my head if I'm going to an estate sale to see if I can find them. Flower frogs, tomato servers, jadeite. It was a package deal. I paid $10 for it. It was marked. One of the part of it that I am not going to keep is this. And you can see she's on a stand, and it's just made in China. Both the doll and the stand are made in China. I don't do dolls. They're a little bit creepy to me, especially those that have the eyes that, and the people who get those real ones that look like lifelike babies kind of freak me out. They do. Some people don't like clowns. I don't like baby dolls. So that was part of the $10. This was the other part. A cloche. And I think I've told you before, I've been looking at some on Amazon, and I just haven't quite pulled the trigger on buying one because I keep hoping to find one in an estate sale or yard sale or something. Well, I did today. So $10, and you can see how big it is with the handle. The one that I got from Michael's doesn't have a handle. It's just a round dome, not this big, and it has a base. It was $20 at Michael's. So $10 for this. And I'll be playing around with that to see how it will be styled. So that was, like I said, they had kind of their own pricing system. Some things were 20 cents, some things were 10 cents, some things were $1, $5, $10. I paid $22.20 for all that. And a couple of items will be for sale. So I'm going to try to show you. I know where the lid's going right off the top of my head. I think I know where the chicken's going. Maybe. And we're going to try to do a recipe. I have a recipe from a lady that used to work with me. It's called a cream cheese pound cake. And I don't know if I've told you this already, but we've got a boatload of eggs that I need to use up, and it calls for 6. So as soon as the butter and the cream cheese softens up, we're going to do that recipe. All right, so we're getting ready to cook our sour cream pound cake. So we've got our bowl, got our mixer. Now we've got 3 cups of flour I'm going to sift. It doesn't say it by the recipe, but I thought, why not? A pinch of salt, and 3 cups of flour are in there. We've got our pan. And this pan came to me from an estate sale. It's a really sturdy pan. I do like this pan. You'll let you see kind of how deep and how big it is. But I've already sprayed it with some of the Baker's Joy. It's just the spray with flour in it. We've got our 3 sticks of butter, and this is salted. It doesn't really say. You can use 3 sticks of butter or 3 sticks of margarine, according to her recipe. So this has been landed. This actually came out of the freezer. This one was in the fridge, so it's a little more looser than the others. But I have preheated the oven to 325, so I was hoping maybe the heat would go ahead and help it out. We also have a block of cream cheese, Philadelphia cream cheese. We've got 3 cups of sugar, 6 eggs, and it calls for a teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm gonna put you up here and we're gonna get started on this. So I got my butter and my cream cheese in there. Some of that butter was still a little firm, too firm for what I wanted. So I just stuck them in the microwave for just a couple of seconds. You can do that. Just don't leave them in there for more than like 3 or 4 seconds, and then open the door and turn the stick over. Do another 3 or 4 seconds. You just don't want to melt them. So everything should be faked to room temperature, at least. So we're going to cream this up a little bit, and then we're going to start adding our sugar. So we may play a little music over this so you don't have to listen to this thing. Now we got our butter and sugar creamed together, and I always thought this was like sweet, good stuff just because there's sugar in it when we were kids. But no, it's not good stuff yet. It's just sugared butter. So now we're going to put our eggs in, and this is 6 eggs, fresh out of our chicken butts today. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Now we're going to take our spatula and we're going to try to scrape up off the bottom as well to make sure there's nothing hiding in the corners. If there is a little lump or two, we still got a little more work to do. So what we're going to do now is add our vanilla, and it calls for a teaspoon of vanilla. This is just Watkins brand. I've got some homemade vanilla still percolating in the cabinet. I haven't tried any of that yet as far as baking. So, I don't know about you, but I like to go ahead and wash my my spoons, my measuring spoons out, so I don't have to put them in the water. I'll go ahead and wash them out, wash them off and dry it. And then we're going to take our flour. We're going to sift it. This is not an old sifter, as you can tell. It's not rusty. I have seen them at estate sales, and they're kind of cool to looking to decorate with, but I certainly wouldn't use them as far as cooking with them. Now, one thing I don't usually wash to try to keep the rust down out of mine. I will knock it out as best I can, but I usually store it just like this. And I know probably somebody's going to say, "Oh, that's not clean," but I try not to wash it as little as possible. If I put cocoa through it, or if I used cinnamon in this dough or in this recipe, I would, just to get that flavor out. But since it's just flour and just a teeny bit of salt, we're just going to leave it as is. And we're going to slowly incorporate that. You can certainly do this on a KitchenAid or If you have a big mixer, mix master, if you have one of those old ones, those look cool. But I don't. Oh, I have a KitchenAid. I just don't want to dig it out for this. Go ahead and get all that in. Probably stir it by hand at this point, but we've already got the beater and it's already dirty, so let it do the work. All right, so you got to lick the beater when Mom got through. If you cook for yourself, you can do that. So we're gonna do one more stir. We're gonna get all this loose flour around the edges. We're gonna stir down to the bottom to make sure we're not leaving anything untouched. And that is as simple as the recipe. We're gonna fill up that pan. I'm going to put it in at a 325 for, it says an hour and a half, but I think everybody knows everyone's stove is a little bit different. So I'm going to do probably for an hour and see where we are then. And let me clean off this spot right here. I don't want to put my... So we have our pan all sprayed with Baker's Joy, and I'll show you that. I mean, just in case you're not a baker and you don't know, that's what it looks like. My mother swore by that, and I get it myself. So, and I think they make another cooking spray that now includes flour. And this is a thick batter. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep turning the pan as we're filling it up. Another one of the things that if you grew up, you know, your mother cooked something and she said, oh, you can lick the bowl after I'm finished. And then she brought out one of these. You knew there was not going to be much left in that bowl when she got finished. So, of course, people say it's not good to eat raw dough because of the eggs, raw eggs. Now, I just want to smooth out the top and make it even, give it the best chance to get going. And we're going to put this, I'm going to put this in a baking sheet just to keep the bottom from getting too brown. So, sorry about the noise. I think this one will fit. Just gonna put it in there. If you have any worries about bubbling over, of course you can cover your pan with tinfoil. But and we're gonna set our timer for, sorry if I'm jiggling you, timer for an hour. And we're gonna see where we're at then, and if it's done, it's done. If it's not, we'll give it a few more minutes. So I said I started with an hour. The recipe called for an hour and a half. And I did an hour and it wasn't quite done. So then I did another 10 minutes. Let me cut this off. And this is what we have. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it off that pan and just put it on that rack right there, and maybe it'll help it cool a little better. So thank you for watching South Georgia Home. I hope you enjoyed the haul, and I'll try to remember to type in the recipe for this cream cheese pound cake. But thank you for joining us, and we'll hope to see you again.